how the hot girl at the office forced this 38-year-old mom of 3 to drop 78 pounds and be a knockout in bikini season. Hi there, my name is Stephen Whiteman. In the next couple of minutes, I'll tell you how a flirty young lady in my office led to my wife accidentally dropping 78 pounds, and how she did it without strenuous dieting, counting calories, or stepping foot inside a gym. 6 or 7 years ago, Carol, my wife, started to have serious issues with her weight. She was steadily gaining and didn't know how to make it stop. We're both in our mid-40s. Carol's at home with the kids, and I'm an accountant with a local shipping company. It's not the most exciting life, but it's our life, and we love it. We love our little family. Carol and I have both gained a little around our middles since we got together 17 years ago. But let's be honest, haven't we all? I play squash with the guys from work a couple of times a week, and that helps me stay trim. But Carol's had it a little harder. She was never what you'd call a skinny girl, but I always thought she was gorgeous. Since we had our first child though, it's gotten harder and harder for her to lose weight and get back to her normal state. About a year ago, she started having health problems that led her to our doctor. To cut the doc story short, Carol needed to lose weight and fast. She'd been gaining, not losing, and it was taking a toll on her. In fact, it was a little scary. I don't know about you, but I want both myself and my wife to be around to watch our kids and grandkids grow up. I was terrified. Carol tried to be strong and laugh it off, but that's just her way. The kids knew something was up too. You know how they don't miss anything? They pick up on all kinds of stuff. So we had to have a very difficult conversation about mommy being sick and maybe getting sicker. And yeah, I know what you're thinking. Hey, go on a diet. But if you've ever had weight issues, you'll know it's not that simple. If it was, everybody would always be the exact weight they want to be. There are 3 main reasons that diets don't work for most people. 1, unless it's done in a very complex and scientific way, cutting out calories usually slows your metabolism down to a crawl, which means you're actually making it harder to burn fat. And it also means any weight you lose will immediately come back even stronger once you go back to regular eating. 2, dieting relies on willpower or starvation. And how long can you keep that up for? It's simply not realistic. 3, dieting rarely makes a lasting change. Most people who are cutting calories to try to lose weight almost immediately put the weight back on when they stop. And it's pretty common to put on even more weight when the diet is over. Now, even though we've been going through this, Carol has remained happy and jolly the whole time. She's such a strong woman. She really impresses me. She'll often joke with people that she's lost over 200 pounds, but unfortunately, it's the same 20 pounds 10 times. Maybe you can relate to that. I know a lot of people can. It's just not easy to know how to really lose weight in this day and age. There's so much false information out there, and it seems like there's a new diet or workout craze every 10 minutes. And they all promise to give you back your bikini body or whatever else. Well, we all know how often that turns out to be true. My poor wife's tried pretty much everything you can imagine. She's practically lived at the gym while she guzzled down protein shakes. She's done yoga, juice cleanses, Pilates, running, SoulCycle classes, and so many kinds of crazy diets you probably wouldn't believe me if I told you. At first, it was almost fun, like a hobby, Carol's latest workout scheme. Almost like she was the coyote always coming up with a new way to catch the roadrunner. Trouble was, she never did catch that roadrunner. About 6 months ago, it came to a head. We got a new receptionist at work, and Carol happened to see a pic of her on the company Facebook page. The girl was young and pretty, but the thing that caused the problem was that she was skinny. Carol went crazy. She asked me if I'd been cheating on her. Of course I had. I don't know if I'd ever said more than 2 words to the girl. Now, I'm not going to lie. I'm a man and I have eyes. The new girl, Samantha, was very pretty, and she worked out a lot. Did I notice that her figure looked particularly great when she wore that one maroon skirt with the zip on the side? Did I catch myself staring at her on her way back into work in her tight gym clothes? Yes, I did. Like I said, I'm just a man and I have eyes like every other man. But I'd never actually cheat on Carol or betray my family like that. It would be like throwing away everything we've worked so hard to build together. But it didn't stop Carol yelling at me. She kept asking if I'd been cheating on her with Samantha the receptionist. She said I couldn't stop staring at her at the Christmas party. I told her no, of course, I hadn't been cheating. And what she said next blew me away. She yelled, "What about when Angela comes to pick up Mackenzie?" Angela is our 12-year-old daughter's BFF's mom. Mackenzie is at our house a lot, and Angela sometimes comes by to pick her up late at night. I had no idea what Carol was talking about. So I asked her, "What do you mean?" I was so confused. She told me that whenever Angela comes over, that I can barely take my eyes off her butt. I had no idea what she was talking about. Yes, I'd been staring at Samantha at the office party, along with every other guy in the building. If you put a hot 22-year-old into a close situation with 30 or 40 men, of course the guys are going to stare. But Angela? I hated Angela. She was not a good mother and was mean to Mackenzie. She's the last person I'd be checking out. I tried to explain, but Carol was still super upset. We talked about it and she kind of broke down. She talked about how she knows I'm not attracted to her anymore, so I must be into this new girl at the office. It was heartbreaking. She gave me this whole list of problems. Have you seen the movie As Good as It Gets? It was like the part when Helen Hunt's character breaks down to her mom because she just can't take all the stress of her life. Carol was telling me she's tired of not being seen, never being noticed by men or me because she's heavier than she used to be. She's tired of having to count every single calorie in everything she eats. She's tired of being afraid to wear a bathing suit. She's tired of having her weight be the thing that makes her choose what to wear each day. She's tired of the number on the scale deciding if it's a good day or a bad day. She was just tired and frustrated with it all. Exhausted. Then she started telling me about when we first met, talking about how I couldn't keep my hands off of her and how she knows it's not the same for me now. As much as I tried to convince her I love her for being who she is and being a great mom to our kids, she just didn't believe me. She kept repeating that she knows I'm not that into her anymore, and she got more and more tearful and upset. It turned into one of those arguments that we never really fixed. We just stopped talking about it and kind of acted like it didn't happen. Afterward, we didn't really talk for a couple of days, and things got awkward. I didn't really know what to say to make her feel better, and I think she was just exhausted from constantly trying to follow a new diet or a new workout or whatever else. It really was the low point in our relationship. A couple of days later, Carol went out to her best friend's bachelorette party. She was still kind of upset, so I encouraged her to blow off some steam with her friends. Little did I know that what she did that night would change our marriage forever. She left the house at about 6 o'clock. The plan was for her to have dinner with the girls and then maybe hit a bar or a club and relive some of their youth. I was all for it. I knew Carol needed some downtime to relax. Just a night off away from me and the kids would do her the world of good. At least that's what I thought then. A lot of people don't understand how exhausting life can be when you're running around with small kids all the time. People seem to think Carol had it easy because she was at home and I was out working. But let me tell you, there were plenty of times when I felt like I was the one who had it easy by going to work. Anyway, back to that night. I got the kiddos to bed and it was about 10 o'clock when Carol texted me and told me not to wait up. And it was nothing unusual. She just said she was having fun with the girls and wanted to stay out a little later. It was fine by me. As long as she was having fun, I was happy. So eventually I got bored with binge watching The Office and decided to hit the hay. I woke up around 4 a.m. and Carol's side of the bed was still empty. I got up to pee and heard a weird noise coming from the living room, like a rattling sound. I thought maybe one of the kids had come downstairs with a toy or something. I went out into the living area and found Carol sitting at the dining table. Her makeup was smeared and she was clearly pretty drunk. "You okay, babe? Fun night?" I was giving her a hard time because she was obviously a little worse for wear. I startled her, and she looked up at me like she didn't know who I was. "Steve, I found it." She was waving a bar napkin at me like it was a winning lottery ticket. Her words were slurred, but her eyes were wide with excitement. I'll explain the bar napkin in just a moment. "Found what? Don't you think you should come to bed?" "The thing I've been looking for. The way to get skinny." "What on earth are you talking about?" I ran into Susie. "She's skinny now." She told me how. I must admit, I didn't take her seriously then. As she told me the story, I had to bite my tongue from telling her it was just drunk nonsense. Carol and Susie had worked together 2 or 3 years ago. They were both bigger girls, and they quickly became besties. They used to have Ben and Jerry nights, where they'd eat ice cream and watch rom-coms together. Carol would always joke that she was Ben and Susie was Jerry. So She was blown away when she ran into Susie that night, and Susie was at least 100 pounds lighter. She's apparently a curvy size 4 now, and Carol said the guys at the bar wouldn't leave her alone, and that Susie loved the attention. There's Carol in a large, shapeless black sweater trying to hide herself away, while Susie's in a slinky red dress fighting off guys the whole night. Here's where the story took a weird twist though. Carol felt a little bit betrayed that her old friend had lost so much weight and not told her about it. Like she'd unlocked the key to a happy life and hadn't shared it. In fact, she said she stormed off and refused to speak to Susie. But she went back and found her when she was a little tipsy. In fact, Carol confronted Susie. She told me in her drunken speech that she confronted Susie. She told her she can't believe Susie had become one of those workout junkies they both used to make fun of. Like she sold out. But here's the thing. Susie just laughed it off. She said she's only been inside a gym twice in her life. Once to sign up for the membership and once to cancel the membership 6 months later when she realized it was a waste of money. Carol didn't believe her. Apparently, Susie looked super toned and amazing. But then Susie started explaining her real secret. She had been traveling around Europe and Asia. On her travels, she met a guy named Sebastian, who introduced her to a lot of strange herbal ingredients that most of us in the USA have never heard of. On her travels, she met a French guy named Sebastian, and they dated and traveled around together for a while. They first met in Paris, and Susie said it was the most romantic and exciting night of her life. She showed Carol a picture of Sebastian, and he was a handsome devil. She said he looked like Antonio Banderas if he did sit-ups for a living. And yeah, Susie had the same thought Carol did when she first started talking to Sebastian. Why would this guy be interested in a girl like her who was maybe a bit too heavy? After about a week of traveling together, Susie finally asked him that exact question one night when she was a little tipsy. They were at a beautiful little hotel in Italy. The restaurant was overlooking a perfectly still lake at sunset. Susie said it was one of the most romantic nights of her life. At first, Sebastian tried to laugh the question off. He wouldn't give a straight answer and kept trying to change the subject. Finally, he plucked up his courage and looked her square in the face. He said, "Susie, listen, because of my work, I'm able to see inside somebody instead of just looking at the surface. And I love being around you because you're not shallow like all the girls at work. You're funny, sarcastic, and outspoken, and you make me laugh all the time." It turns out that Sebastian was a fixer for modeling agencies. If you're anything like me, you have no idea what that means. So I asked Carol, what the heck is a fixer for modeling agencies? Well, his job was to help the models stay skinny, but to make sure they were doing it in a healthy way. Sebastian was an expert at herbal solutions to help people burn off fat and get a lot leaner and a lot more toned, but a lot more than they'd lose if they were only relying on a healthy diet and exercise. Of course, Susie didn't believe this at first, but Sebastian showed her lists and lists of models and celebrity agencies in his phone that he'd worked with, which means that things that he had access to, things that are widely known in Europe and the rest of the world, but are less known here in the USA. And of course, once Susie heard this, she had to know more. She'd struggled with her weight just as much as Carol had. And so Sebastian gave Susie a list of what he called his special mixture. It was a handful of different herbs and other natural ingredients that, when added together in exactly the right amounts, can do amazing things for your body. Susie told Carol she would grind up the roots of these rare ingredients in very precise measurements and would make tea out of them while she traveled. She said that right away she noticed she was more alert and had a lot more energy. And she was delighted when the weight started to drop off. And I'm talking about serious amounts of weight. 6 months after her travels was when Carol ran into Susie at the bar. And she'd easily lost 60 or 70 pounds in that time. Now, I know my wife better than anybody, bless her heart. And what she did right then was ask Susie for an exact list of those unusual ingredients. And she wrote them down on this bar napkin. And that's when I come into the story. The weird noise I heard when I came in at 4 a.m. was Carol hammering the keys on her laptop, Googling these ingredients and seeing where to find them. I'll admit that at that point, I was kind of humoring her, so I let her finish the story and then I put her to bed. The next day over breakfast, she told me a little more about this Sebastian guy and what Susie had discovered. And to be honest, I still thought it sounded a bit like an old wives' tale to me. Although, I started to take it a little more seriously when Carol pulled up Susie's Facebook on her phone. The girl she showed me really didn't look anything like the Susie I had known. It was obviously still her, but she looked like $1,000,000. And she looked happier. At that point, life kind of went back to normal, or so I thought. A few weeks later, when I came home from work, I walked in the house and Carol looked different. I couldn't put my finger on why. I asked her if she had her hair done or if she was wearing more makeup than usual. She laughed no to both those things. She let me guess a few more things and kept laughing the whole time at my answers. Then she told me she lost 6 pounds in the past 2 weeks. I was delighted for her. Although, I will admit, I did feel bad for what I was thinking, because Carol would lose weight fairly regularly, only to gain it back and more a few weeks later. I asked her how she'd done it. I thought maybe she joined a new cardio class at the gym or something like that. Maybe one of those bicycle things. She laughed like I should already know. And then she said it was from her secret mixture, from the napkin. I was blown away. It actually worked. And that was just the beginning. Carol lost something like 80 pounds over the next 7 or 8 months. At first, we thought it was a fluke or beginner's luck or whatever. So we gave some to some of her friends too. And they all saw the same dramatic change in their weight. Like Deborah Jones, who's in her mid-40s and says she has more energy than she did 10 years ago. And she's 30 pounds lighter than she was 10 years ago too. And Clive Malcolm, who said, "It started with my wife urging me to lose weight together. This was a bullseye. Within 2 months, I dropped enough to fit into my college baseball uniform." And here's the thing. These ladies have achieved these amazing results alongside their regular healthy diets and workouts, but without living at the gym or having to massively restrict their calories. And it's possible because of something called dynamite. I'll explain exactly what it is in just a moment, but all you need to really know is that dynamite is dynamite for burning fat. More on that later. Right now, I can't honestly say that Carol saw immediate fast success right away. There was a little trial and error involved. It proved pretty difficult to get the right ingredients in the right quantity, and even when we did, the quality was bad. The trouble with herbal stuff is that the strength and purity of the nutrients is completely different from one area to the next, which means the root from one plant can have 0 nutrients in it compared to the roots from the exact same plant 20 miles away, which can be jam-packed with good-for-you stuff. So the first tea Carol tried making used the first 3 ingredients: African mango seed, fucocoxanthin, and grapefruit pectin. And all 3 of those are pretty fascinating and also very helpful on a weight loss journey. African mango seed is pretty amazing. And you guessed it, it only grows in certain parts of Africa. It's considered very nutritious by the locals who eat the fruit, but it's the seeds we're interested in. Because African mango seed extract has been clinically proven to reduce body fat and speed up your metabolism. In a 2009 study published by a government organization, the U.S. National Library of Medicine, African mango seed was shown to help people drop weight and shrink their waist quite amazingly. Over a 10-week period, 60 volunteers were given high-quality African mango seed extract each day. They didn't do any exercise or change their diet in any way, and they were weighed and measured by medical experts on day 1 and again on the final day. By the end of 10 weeks, the 60 volunteers each lost an average of 28.16 pounds of fat and had their waist size go down by 6.4 inches. Not bad for taking a little supplement each day and not doing anything else, right? As part of the study, they were told to continue their regular lifestyles. Work out if they usually work out, or don't work out if they don't. These results were not just a fluke either. Another study published by the same organization showed that test subjects lost 2.7% of their total body weight after just 4 weeks. Not only that, but the subjects in the study experienced a large increase in the good cholesterol in their body. And all those things are very good news for heart health. See what I mean about this being a wonderful formula? We're only 1 ingredient into it, and you're already seeing undeniable proof of how well it works. The second ingredient is something called fucocoxanthin. It's sourced from a particular type of brown seaweed that only occurs in open water, which means sourcing it and making sure it's high quality can be very difficult. In a 2017 clinical trial published by Functional Foods and Health and Disease, Fucoxanthin was found to significantly reduce body fat in those who were overweight or obese. 50 subjects were tested, and they didn't make any lifestyle or diet changes. Over a 4-week period, the study subjects dropped an average of 2.86 pounds. But perhaps more importantly, when their bodies were analyzed at the end of the experiment, it was shown that almost all the weight they'd lost was fat from their midsections, their thighs, their arms, and their neck. The third ingredient was something called grapefruit pectin. Pectin is a type of fiber that works almost like glue in some fruits. It holds the different parts of the fruit together. And grapefruit pectin has been found to be great for you. In a study published by PubMed.gov, the government website for showing the results of clinical studies, it was proven that grapefruit pectin has shown to support healthy cholesterol levels already in the normal range. So, how did Carol feel when she started taking those 3 ingredients each day? First of all, she said she definitely felt a boost of energy, like she'd had a giant coffee and had some pep to her step, but without being jittery. She was tracking her weight quite closely, and she definitely started to lose weight. And that was from just 3 of the ingredients. So, we got to thinking, wow, if just 3 of the magic 9 can be that effective, I wonder if we can add anything else to make it work even better. I spoke to an expert friend of mine and had him take a look at the ingredients. He's a smart guy, and he suggested an adjustment to the tea recipe, and even came up with a few other things to add. One of them was something called dynamite, and boy oh boy, this stuff is like rocket fuel for losing weight. Carol tried the new version for a few months, and that was when her serious weight loss began. As I record this, she's down 78 pounds, and I'll be completely honest with you, I really can't keep my hands off her now, and she loves it. She told me she walked past a construction site recently and had some guys wolf whistle at her. And she said that hasn't happened to her since she was in her early 20s. Carol losing weight has done wonders for our marriage. She's no longer stressed and worried about how she looks. And I hate to say it, but she's in a better mood. I think she'd kill me if she knew I said that though. And Carol's not the only one who's lost a life-changing amount of weight with these powerful ingredients. Before we move on, I want to highlight the fact that these women are not gym rats. They're not watching every single thing they eat. They're not starving themselves or following some wacky diet where all they get to eat is lemon juice and tissue paper. In fact, they didn't change one single thing about their lives. How have these women been able to see such amazing results across the board? Well, it's in the special blend of ingredients the natural pharmacist added to the secret stuff Susie got from the mystery guy in Europe. Keep watching, because you're about to see scientific proof of exactly what these ingredients do. And yes, I know, the first 3 ingredients are already pretty powerful. You're going to love what the others bring. And listen, instead of telling you what I hope these things do, or what the theory behind it is, I'm only going to share concrete medical evidence with you. So, you know for a fact that all these ingredients have been proved to be beneficial by nationally published medical studies. First up, what does everybody want more of? Energy, right? Well, the way a lot of us do that is by chugging cups of coffee to get through the workday, right? The problem with that is, not only does it leave you jittery, it can also burn out your adrenal glands and leave you with stress and anxiety and insomnia and a lot of other issues. So we wanted a better solution. First, we included a very clean and pure version of caffeine, about as much as you'd get from a cup of good, strong, high-quality coffee, but we wanted to keep that feeling. After all, you want energy, but you don't want to be jittery and bouncing off the walls, do you? And you also want it to be out of your system early enough that it's not keeping you awake and giving you bad sleep, which is where the Dynamine comes in. Let me tell you, this stuff is amazing. Dynamine works to kind of smooth out your body's response to caffeine while extending it. So you get that same great energized feeling, but for an extended period. You know how you usually feel that craving for another coffee after lunch to pick you back up and let you power through the rest of the day? Well, Dynamine means you don't need that, because your morning coffee is still helping you power through, so you're just not experiencing that crash. Dynamine has been shown to double the length of time caffeine energizes you for, giving you that smooth burst of energy you need. The result? A smooth, consistent energy boost with no afternoon crash or craving for more caffeine. And that's not the only reason the caffeine and dynamine pairing works so well. You see, most people don't realize, but caffeine helps you lose weight by getting you to burn away more calories than you usually would. And don't take my word for that. There are literally dozens of scientific studies out there that prove it. Everywhere from the National Center for Biotechnology Information and the Harvard School of Public Health has published studies showing how much caffeine and coffee can help with weight loss. And that's why we included such a pure strain of coffee here. And when we mix it with dynamine, it means you get that lean burn for longer, which enables the body to burn even more fat. And it doesn't stop there. Every single ingredient is designed to help you drop a ton of weight as soon as humanly possible. First up, we have something called chromium picolinate. To explain how great this stuff is, I have to tell you a little known fact about hospitals. You see, it's so widely known that chromium picolinate helps people lose weight that hospitals add it to pretty much every single IV bag they ever use. So if you've ever had an IV for pretty much any reason, chances are they were giving you chromium picolinate too. But what does it actually do? In 13 clinical studies analyzed by the National Library of Medicine, it was proven that chromium picolinate helps your body process insulin in the healthiest way possible. What does that mean? It means your glycemic response is smoothed out, which is just a fancy way of saying it supports healthy blood sugar levels already in the normal range. And that means it's harder for your body to pack on the fat and easier for you to burn it. Not bad, right? That's why they give it to everybody in hospital, because it's been proved to be so beneficial so many times. Remember, there are 13 clinical studies out there proving that it works. Oh, and in yet more studies, they found that chromium picolinate can also support healthy cholesterol levels already in the normal range. Now, it's pretty obviously why that wonder nutrient was included, isn't it? Next up, we have apple cider vinegar. Yes, everybody's heard of apple cider vinegar, and people talk about lots of different ways to use it. But did you know that in 2018, apple cider vinegar was found to significantly help people drop fat? In a study published in the Journal of Functional Food, they found that just a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar with lunch and the same again at dinner really did help the test subjects lose weight. Over a 12-week period, the average person lost 8.8 pounds. That's almost 3/4 of a pound a week with no effort. And get this, it reduced their appetite too. Next, we have ellagic acid from pomegranates. This stuff is pretty amazing. In another study at Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center, it was shown that ellagic acid from pomegranate supports healthy cholesterol levels because of how it interacts with your fat cells. And yet, another study, ellagic acid from pomegranates, was found to support normal lipid levels in your blood. You see, lipid is just another word for fat, and you don't want too much fat in your bloodstream for obvious reasons. But in a 2013 study published in the International Journal of Food Sciences and Nutrition, it was showed that ellagic acid helps your body dissolve those lipids healthily and naturally. Next up is something called berberine. Berberine is a bioactive compound that's extracted from several plants in the wild. It's technically part of the alkaloid family. Berberine is very powerful because it binds to certain molecules in your body and changes the way they work. What does that mean? It means, in this case, that it's clinically proven to support healthy cholesterol levels already in the normal range. This was proven in a study published at the US National Library of Medicine. Now, it's pretty obvious that all of those ingredients are hugely powerful and can definitely help, even force your body to lose weight, right? After all those clinical studies don't lie. But it's also important to have a healthy digestive process and a healthy inflammatory response. And those are two of the major components of a healthy body. For that reason, we included 3 other incredibly powerful ingredients to make this good for your entire body, not just burning fat. The first is good old ginger. Ginger has been known for years to be good for digestion and gut health, but most people don't know how good. In a training manual published online by the National Center for Biotechnology Information, they show that ginger has been proven to do everything from support digestion to support inflammation and provide key antioxidants. The next is turmeric. And in studies published at the U.S. National Library of Medicine, turmeric has been found to provide support for occasional digestive problems. And next, there's nigella, also known as black curcumin seed. Nigella has been found to support a healthy inflammatory response in the body. Now, as you'll agree, all those ingredients together are a pretty powerful package. And who doesn't want the support of a healthy inflammatory response and healthy digestive and respiratory systems? Until now, to get those benefits, first, you had to know Carol personally. Second, you had to know her secret list of suppliers to make sure you're getting the highest possible quality for each and every ingredient. And then you had to know the exact quantities to blend them together. Not to mention how to do it right to make the tea in just the perfect way. Now let's be honest, that's a lot. So Carol and I worked together to create an easier version. We researched for months, painstaking trial and error, and found a way to dry all the ingredients without affecting their potency. And we were able to store it all in one amazing capsule. It's like a weight loss super pill. And for the first time in history, it's available to the public. It's called MaxiLoss. And it's the reason so many people just like you are effortlessly losing weight by using MaxiLoss to support their health and lifestyle. Why is it called MaxiLoss? Well, you've just seen all the clinical science behind how these ingredients slice the fat from the human body like a blowtorch. So MaxiLoss kind of makes sense, doesn't it? Here's what a few people had to say after they tried it. Now, I want to tell you something deep from my heart. If you want to start losing weight while supporting your healthy eating and any exercise you're doing, and without that feeling of desperation like you have no idea how you're going to shift the pounds, then you need to give MaxiLoss a try. It simply works. I can't put it any plainer than that. Doesn't matter how old you are, doesn't matter what kind of lifestyle you have, doesn't matter how much you weigh or how many kids you have or how busy you are. And it doesn't matter what you've tried in the past or how frustrated you've been trying to get the body you want all these years. None of those things matter because MaxiLoss really could work for you. Now, let me tell you what that usually looks like. First, people usually tell us they get a smooth burst of energy when they take the pill. That feeling comes from the caffeine and dynamine working together to not only give you the energy you need to get through the day, but to also kickstart that fat burning process. And while that's happening, the rest of the ingredients we talked about are combining forces to seek out the stubborn fat in your body and burn it off. So think about all that logically for a second. Those ingredients are clinically proven to help people lose weight and support healthy cholesterol already in the normal range, support their digestive system, and also their inflammatory response. And you get all those ingredients in just one pill a day. And it's even created in what we call a special transport blend, which makes it easier and faster for your body to absorb. Now, here's the catch. So pay attention. MaxiLoss is literally not available anywhere else. It's not available in stores. It's not available at Amazon. This page here is your only chance to get some. And watching this video all the way through until the end is the only way you can be sure to get some. Now, you've heard the story about how Carol lost a ton of weight, and we probably saved our marriage. You've seen firsthand how so many other women are going through such easy transformations. And you've seen how every single ingredient in MaxiLoss is scientifically proven to support your healthy diet and exercise plan to help you lose weight. So I must ask you a question. What are you going to see in the mirror a month from now? Really think about that question. Now, I must apologize because I need to be kind of harsh with you here about your answer. Sometimes it's best to speak as plainly as possible. The hard, brutal truth is that weight creeps up on us a little at a time, doesn't it? Most of us are gaining more than we're losing, even if we're already trying to eat healthy and exercise. It's not like you woke up one morning suddenly 40 pounds heavier than the day before. It's gradual, an ounce at a time, a half a pound a week for a year. You don't even notice it for 3 months, and by the time you do, you're already losing the battle. That's how it gets you. Sound familiar? But that means in a month's time, without MaxiLoss, you'll probably be a little bit heavier, and you'll be less seen by your husband, just a little bit. He'll be less attracted to you, more distant, more likely to stray if he's that way inclined. I'm sorry to say that, but I'm a man. I know what goes on in our minds. The wolf whistles and cat calls from the construction sites will be even further away. And you'll be one step closer to giving up and accepting that as the rest of your life. Accepting having your weight choose what you wear each day. Accepting having your weight choose what you eat each day. Accepting having a number on a scale tell you where you're going and what you're doing each day. But here's the thing, that doesn't have to happen. With the help of MaxiLoss and all of those amazing ingredients put together in this unique blend, you could actually increase your metabolism. You can start shedding some of those pounds. You can start getting your energy back, getting your zest for life back, and you can once again be the real you. The one who's fun and carefree and who feels attractive every day, not just when she's having a good day. Don't you think that sounds better? Of course it does. And I've already shown you so many examples of people MaxiLoss is already working for. Now, those are all real and verified customers from our records. After seeing how much it's helping them, it's pretty obvious MaxiLoss could benefit just about everybody on the planet, isn't it? So in just a moment, I'll reveal exactly how to get your hands on this amazing weight loss pill that's already helping so many other people. But first, I want to ask you a question, because let's be honest, blitzing the fat from your body while still continuing your current healthy diet and exercise program would be great, wouldn't it? You've already seen the remarkable stories of how MaxiLoss is helping others. You've seen how they're getting huge benefits, changing their entire lives, just by popping a couple of easy to swallow capsules a day while they continue their normal healthy diet and exercise program. So now the big question is, do you want changes like that in your life? If not, you can go ahead and close this video before I go any further. But if you do, how much are those health changes worth to you? How much is it worth to be seen again, to feel attractive again, to have men interested in you, to have your husband go back to that can't keep his hands off you phase? How much is it worth to be able to have the energy to keep up with your kids? How much is it worth to not have the number on your bathroom scale making so many major decisions in your life? How much is it worth to take the strain off your joints as you age? How much is it worth to finally get back your zest for life and the enjoyment you used to have in just being yourself? And how much is it worth to get all of those benefits simply from taking 3 seconds to swallow a capsule every morning? For most people, they'd pay thousands. In fact, it did cost thousands to figure out the formula, to try the different blends, and to finally find the right manufacturer based right here in the USA. Tens of thousands even. But thankfully, it doesn't have to cost you that much. And I want to give you the opportunity to affordably get it now. Because of this, MaxiLoss has been priced as cheaply as possible. And it wasn't easy to make that happen. After all, every single batch of ingredients is individually tested and then flown here from overseas. It's processed in our certified facility on USA soil and then tested again. And then, once it's gone through the process to be turned into MaxiLoss, it's tested again. If at any point it doesn't meet our very strict guidelines for purity, it's rejected and they start over. As you might imagine, doing all that is not cheap. So you could be forgiven for thinking it would cost you hundreds of dollars a month to get a regular supply of MaxiLoss. Now, don't get me wrong, it would still be completely worth it. But here's the thing, it's actually nowhere near that expensive. You see, myself, Carol, and all the guys at MaxiLoss really do want to help people. That's usually how these things work. But that's not what we're about. And that means you don't have to pay hundreds of dollars a month. I'll give you the actual price in just a moment. First, you need to know that you're completely protected by a pretty amazing guarantee. Now listen, it would be illegal for me to say that taking MaxiLoss will guarantee you lose a certain amount of weight, even though I know for a fact it will. If anybody ever makes a guarantee like that, run a mile, because it means they're breaking the law. And if they're breaking the law there, who else knows where they're cutting corners? So no, I can't guarantee you'll lose weight because that's illegal. But what I can do is guarantee your satisfaction. To put it bluntly, I'm not afraid to put my money where my mouth is. Here's how that works. If you go ahead and order your first bottle of MaxiLoss right now, you're protected by our 60-day satisfaction guarantee, which means you've got 60 days to try it out. 60 days to take MaxiLoss and see what it does for you. If it helps you easily drop the pounds and gives you that new lease of vibrant, healthy energy, great. Your new future is right there. But if it doesn't get the results you want, let us know, and you'll get a full and prompt refund. We honestly don't believe we deserve your money if you don't love MaxiLoss. and it doesn't change your life in the most spectacular way. So it doesn't matter if it doesn't work for you, and it doesn't matter if you simply don't like it. Just let us know within 60 days and you get your money back. Scout's honor. Now, I promise to tell you exactly how much this will cost you, and I'm about to spill the beans right now. But I have to warn you, it's way less than you're probably thinking. In just a second, an order form will appear under this video. If you're one of the quick ones and you hit that button immediately, you get your supply of MaxiLoss for just $1.97 a day. No, I'm not joking. That's honestly all it costs if you claim it today. $59 for a month supply, which works out to be just $1.97 a day. And you get free shipping. Would you pay $1.97 a day to lose 70 pounds and keep it off like Carol did? Heck yeah. Let's think about this for a sec. What else could you get for less than $2? Cup of coffee? Maybe. If you know the cheap places. Maybe a newspaper, pack of gum. Most of us have more than that in our pocket as spare change right now. And sure, you could spend that money on coffee or papers or candy bars or whatever else. But be honest about it. Will any of those things have a lasting impression on your life? Probably not. But you buy them without even thinking about it, because $2 really isn't a lot of money. Do you remember the cup of coffee you drank 3 Tuesdays ago on your way back to work? Or what about the candy bar from a month ago? I know I don't remember those things. You probably don't either. The reason we don't remember those small purchases is because they don't have much impact on our lives. But MaxiLoss could. If you got even half the results you've seen some of our previous customers get, that would be huge for you, wouldn't it? Would you pay $1.97 a day for that? Of course you would. You'd be crazy not to, especially knowing you'll get your money back if it doesn't work in the way you want it to. Do you think those customers are happy they took the plunge and paid $1.97 per day? Of course they are. Look, I've done my best to make this an absolute no-brainer for you, but whether you realize it or not, you're standing at a crossroads. On your left side is the life you have now. Weight problems, your weight lowering your value as a person, choosing how you live your life, and the choices you make, making the opposite sex ignore you so you feel invisible. And it's giving you a lack of energy. And let's be clear, is your weight increasing right now or decreasing? For most of us, our number is rising, but that's the path you're on now. If you continue along that path, only one thing is certain. You really will be a little heavier a month from now, and the month after that, and the month after that too. It'll slowly but surely sneak up on you, because that's how it works. More and more, your weight will be making the decisions in your life. It'll decide what you wear. It'll decide what clothes you buy. It'll decide where you go on vacation. And that lack of energy you feel would decide how you spend your days. And it'll be the example you set for your children. Mom's always tired. Mom can't be out in the world living her life because her weight makes it hard for her to keep up. That's the path you're on right now. Because if you don't do something to stop it, weight gain just leads to more weight gain. It'll snowball if it's not controlled. That's literally how it works. Although you probably don't need me to tell you that. So you can choose that, the slowly snowballing weight issues that gradually turn into bigger issues and affect your kids' view of the world, or you can make the smart choice. The choice I wish everybody had. The choice I want everybody to take. The choice to start taking MaxiLoss each day. The choice to let Mother Nature herself fight your weight problems. To let her begin revving up your metabolism so you can begin to melt the fat from your frame. It really is like having Mother Nature supercharge what you're already doing with your healthy eating and your exercise routine. So you're more clear-minded, with more energy, bursting out of bed instead of dragging yourself to the kitchen to get coffee while you're secretly counting the hours until you can sleep again. And every day you see the numbers on the scale get a little bit lower. The choice seems easy, especially when you consider that you get your money back if it doesn't work for you. Start your order below and claim that life for yourself. Now, if you're still watching, I want to level with you. We've been on a journey together here. You've seen how even when you eat healthy, the fat just sticks to your body and it's not your fault. You've seen how that devastates your body. And you've seen how the fat on your body drags down your quality of life and makes you feel less like you. But you've also seen how Mother Nature has been providing perfectly natural ingredients to help you fight the fat since the beginning of time. you've seen how a handful of carefully selected, ultra-pure ingredients can crank up your metabolism until it is really like a furnace inside your body. You've seen how humans have already been using some of these ingredients to support a healthy lifestyle and have more energy for thousands of years. And you've seen how MaxiLoss sources the most potent versions of those ingredients in the world, and how each batch passes multiple scientific tests before it ever leaves the facility. And you also saw stories from everyday people just like you who are having their lives changed by MaxiLoss. And lastly, you've seen the two most important things. Number one, that you can begin changing your life for just $1.97 a day. And number two, that if you don't like MaxiLoss or you're not happy with your results, you'll get every penny refunded. So you have no risk, zero risk, and a whole new lease of life to gain. Now, it's time for you to make a decision. We've come on this journey together so far, but I can't take this next step for you. It's up to you to make the decision to support the health of you and your family together. So hit the button below and place your order right now. Your MaxiLoss will be with you as fast as humanly possible because they want you to get the benefits as soon as possible. Order now, you'll be so glad you did.